What's up, y'all? I'm sitting in my car talking to myself, and so I think I'm gonna go live on sometime early next week and talk more about this what's up, y'all I did the other day about where we are in the challenge we're having right now, about my admonishment that we vote and plan, which was what I said, lest anybody get confused about what it was I said. I didn't say don't vote. I just said don't be surprised if the shit don't matter. That's what I did. And that don't matter, like, yeah. I mean, here's the deal. A system is rigged, right? It is. We know it is rigged. Like, the man is moving post office boxes out of communities. So we know the system is rigged. And so I am a proponent of being a person who has many tools in your tool belt. If you just have one tool, then you don't have enough tools, right? You're not prepared for what might show up in the job you have to do that you weren't expecting. There is no architect who just has, like one house they design. There's no construction person who just has a hammer, right? There's no chef who only has like measuring cups. Like, you need multiple tools, right? For the possibility, the range of things that you might be wanting to create. And so what I'm saying is, if your only plan is voting as your only tool, you might be in trouble. That's what I'm saying, right? So yes, it's a tool. Go use that tool. You need to use that tool. I have other thoughts about it, but I'm not even going to get into those thoughts about it, because I think they'll take us away from my most prominent point. But I'm going to go live next week because a lot of things are coming up in the video that I think are really important reflections for us about how we hear and see information that is presented to us and where we respond from. Because in this conversation about planning, if you are responding, and we all respond at times from our fear selves. It's human, right? It's a very natural response. The problem is that we don't understand that response, and we don't understand when our fear response is in the way of our survival. Because some of us are flight, some of us are fight, some of us are freeze, right? And then some of us are fawn, right? Fawn is another one that they talked about, where it's like, I try to placate the danger in the hope that the danger will lessen because I'm trying to placate it. And some of you, is very clear as I listen to your comments, as I read your comments in the thread, what's very clear to me is that your fear response to what I said is keeping you from being able to hear what I said. So there's a lot of people who are like, so, but what's your suggestion? Or what's your solution? What's the answer? And what I think is fascinating is, I was like, I very clearly in the video said what I thought the answer was. I even gave an example of how I'm employing the answer that I gave. Also, in addition, on the thread with 400 comments are people who listed out very specific and powerful additional things that my suggestion could mean or could look like. And so if you are if you are the kind of person where your fear gives you a freeze response, then what you did was you stopped listening once I said something that made you afraid, and you didn't hear the suggestion. Or your fight response, once you heard what I said and it frightened you, your fight response made you decide that you were going to battle against the suggestion. And then there are a few of y'all, I'm sure you might be in your fawning place too, right? I don't know. But what I want us to think about is how we hear puts us in greater danger if we don't become intimately related and connected to our own experience of fear. Because in that experience of fear, are the dynamics that are at play. And they are how you won't make it out of whatever it is that's on its way. And when I say make it out, I don't mean as dire as like how you die in the apocalypse. Although I'm not saying that I'm not saying that. But that's not the core of what I mean. What I mean is that you won't get out of your pattern to create a new possibility. And we don't have to be in the apocalypse to understand that. You don't have to be in a dynamic of apocalyptic circumstance to understand that there are things in your life that you can't get to because you shut down the answer when your fear comes up. So somebody gave you what you wanted. And I want people to just think about when this has happened in your own life. You're in the middle of a conversation with somebody and they say something that triggers you, triggers fear or defensiveness, or triggers your fear response, which could be defensiveness, could be, freezing, could be running away. But the rest of their sentence was exactly what you wanted, but you didn't get to it because you didn't hear it, because you were stuck on the thing that triggered you. And I certainly have examples of this in my own life where my stuckness on what triggered me kept me from hearing. I almost missed the blessing that was at the rest of the sentence because I was stuck in my trigger space. And so we're going to have to get intimate with the ways in which we understand and know our fear in a time of great fear, right? We are all in a time of great fear. The only way to really be able to navigate that is to begin to think about, how is it that I respond in fear? And then how do I slow that response down enough to become strategic? Because that's really what you're being asked to do, is to become strategic in how you move forward. And you can't do that if you are moving from a place of responsiveness, from a reactionary place. And so a lot of the comments that I saw are reactionary in the thread. And I invite you, if you felt reactionary, to go back and listen to the video again. And to try in this time very intentionally to say, all right, she said that she gave suggestions. I'm going to try to listen for the suggestions. Or she said, she gave multiple options. I'm going to try to listen for the multiple options. Go in and see if you can't slow your response time down enough to actually be able to pick those things out. And then go through the thread and do the same. It's an exercise in slowing your responsiveness in such a way that you don't miss the opportunity. And I talked about this before, that you don't miss the opportunity. And in this case, we're talking about an opportunity to plan for potential danger, right? But you won't be able to do that. You'll be stuck. So this is really an invitation for you to notice how your fear response shows up, and then to invite in the practice of rewiring it so that you can have greater intentionality in your response, and so that you don't miss the vital information that is actually there in service to you. So I'm going to go live this week and talk more through this thread. But I wanted to give that as a place for us to start working with ourselves as we prepare for whatever it is that we need to prepare for. Okay? Bye.